everyone. Welcome back to the Start Virtual series, the podcast where we talk systems, scale, and the human side of remote work. I'm Daryl from Start Virtual, and today we're diving into something that's often overlooked but absolutely essential: engagement activities, especially in the virtual workplaces. So, if you're leading a remote team, this episode is for you. So, I have here today, I think he's a very famous personality now here in our podcast, because this is actually the third time you're gonna see him in our episode. So if you haven't seen the previous episodes we have, please take the time to take a look at our YouTube channel and watch those episodes. We did have him as a guest with some of our sales and marketing discussions, and even our affiliate program and word of mouth episode. So who am I talking about? None other than the Parco. Hey Parco, say hi to
Hey
everyone.
guys, thank you for having me again.
So I think he's one of my favorite guests in here. So let's start with a mindset shift. You know what? Engagement isn't a perk. It's actually a performance strategy, especially in virtual teams like here in Start Virtual, because majority of our staff here are working remotely. We don't have hallway chats. We don't have lunch breaks together, spontaneous high fives. So if we don't intentionally create connection, then isolation creeps in, and that's a problem. So engagement activities do powerful things for the business. So can you talk more about that, Parco?
Yep, for sure, definitely. It actually does three powerful things. So first, it preserves morale. So it reminds your team that they're seen, valued, and part of something bigger. Because if you're working from home, you're alone in your room, and if your team's reaching out, then it builds a connection for sure. And it boosts. Number two is it boosts retention. So people stay where they feel connected. And as I've mentioned, if there are stuff that we're doing to get these connections going, then they're often than not, it keeps them to stay with the company. And then lastly, it definitely increases productivity. So engaged teams, we have observed this, that it definitely engaged teams collaborate better and solves problems faster.
Exactly. It's not about fun for fun's sake. It's about creating a culture where people thrive, and that works even when they're miles apart. That's the beauty of technology as well. There's a lot of ways we can keep people engaged and add a little bit of creativity for sure. It's really challenging sometimes to come up with new ideas on keeping people engaged, but it has to be done. It's an important element of the whole business, because if they're not engaged enough, like what we mentioned earlier, you can't expect as much productivity. You can't expect them to stay long, and morale will be low. And happy people are performers. Happy people sell. Happy people are creative and will figure out ways to be effective with their and to be efficient with their jobs. So that's why we always come up with different ways, and we make sure that we connect with the team weekly and monthly during our town halls as well, so that there's something to look forward to other than work. Imagine, guys, you're actually working from home, probably staying in your room almost 24/7, because it's hard to divide life and career or work, because you're staying in the same place. It's not like when you're going to the office, you have a completely different environment. But here, it can be a bit stressful and depressing sometimes that you're just in your room. So we also encourage people to really go out there during your break time, or if you're done with the shift, or during the weekends. You can even travel and work, because as long as you have your device like a laptop and stable internet connection, for most of our virtual assistants and bookkeepers, that allows them to have fun, enjoy life, travel wherever they want to go, and still be able to work and pay for the bills basically, and pay for their travel. So that's what's good about it. And in this setup, temptation is really big, right? The temptation to not do the right thing, or to oversleep, or go on overbreak. because unlike when you're in the office, no eyes are on you, right? But that's why we make sure that they are engaged so that we can eliminate that the threat or the temptation of doing the wrong things. And that's definitely part of our core value. Always do the right thing, be accountable, and have integrity, basically. So we make sure to always remind them of that. And we have ways of also monitoring our staff and leading them the right direction at the same time. All right, so let's talk about what actually is making some engagement activities work, right? So, what are the things that we do, Parco, to make sure that the engagement activity will definitely be something that they'll be enticed to participate in?
So first, as you've mentioned, there were cases before we had engagement activities for the main reason just to wake people up. We haven't studied this enough before, so that was just the main purpose. But since we have delved in deeper, we understood what's the importance of engaged work. We have studied that first, it has to be non-disruptive. So we're not trying to hijack the workday, we're trying to enhance it.
So right now with our current way of doing it every week, we have our Wednesday brain breaks, as we call it. So we basically schedule it every Wednesdays, maximum of an hour, and we encourage people to go on break, or if their task allows them to multitask and they can participate, then we welcome them to those, specifically on Wednesdays. And I just wanted to share why we want to do it on Wednesday, because we want the first 2 days to really be focused on keeping up with the tasks, completing what we can complete. The latter part of the week, still the same reason, be focused with what needs to be completed before the week ends, and ensure that there's quality on work as well, of course. But in the middle of the week, there's a bit of a break. So at least an hour to just, probably do some quizzes or any engagement activity that was agreed to be done on that week. So there's something to look forward to other than work. And that's a good way to take a little break, a breath of fresh air for them sometimes. And even if we're not in an office setup, they can still interact and collaborate with their workmates.
And actually, people are very much looking forward to it. If you have worked on an office-based setup before, we do have this huddles where we're really looking forward to those times, because we can chit chat with our friends. We don't have to think about work. This is one of the things that we're targeting during this Wednesday engagement activities.
Yeah. So and we do communicate, there's still clear communication even if we're not in the office setup. There are different platforms you can use as a business owner if you're planning to start a business that involves people working from home or remotely, or even outsource people to work with. There's a lot of ways you can constantly communicate with them, like have Slack or Google Chat, which is what we're using currently. Your meetings can be via Zoom or Google Meet. There's a lot of platforms options out there for communication and collaboration as well.
Now, I've mentioned earlier that people are looking forward to it. It's connected to the second reason why engagement activity is actually important. This activities that we do, it should be inclusive. So people are looking forward to it because everyone can join in. So we know not everyone wants to dance on Zoom or play trivia. Right. We offer different varieties.
I don't want to dance. That's a fact.
I do sometimes. Depends on how much you're
I've seen it, and okay.
But yeah, we offer different stuff every Wednesdays. It depends on the engagement coordinator during that week or that month. Sometimes we offer polls, quick polls, recognition shout-outs, and then there are threads for week gratitudes, and then we also have the virtual coffee drop-ins. The next one is we need to have clear communication. So Daryl already mentioned earlier. So we need to let leaders know what's happening, why it matters, and how to support it. So yeah, those are the 3 important things.
Yes, love that. And it's also important that you plan it ahead of time, because like what I said earlier, since you have to be creative and come up with something new and be inclusive and intentional with these engagement activities, then you can't like do it a day before or think about it a day before or on the day itself. It's gonna be very challenging to do it. It may be possible, but you may not get the result that you want. We're sometimes also involving our team. We ask them for bright ideas, or we do some surveys and ask them what do they want to do differently this month or this week or whatnot. And we usually involve other people from different departments. We call it like engagement committees, to help come up with fresh ideas or fresh perspective on how we can have more meaningful and enjoyable engagement activities. So it's important that you are gonna probably create an engagement calendar. I think is a good idea. So you know what it looks like. So Parko, what's a simple framework that our viewers and listeners here can actually come up with if they're planning their engagement calendar?
So we've already mentioned it earlier. We have weekly activity, the Win Wednesday activity. So we need to have weekly rhythm. So we just have to pick one light touch activity per week. Doesn't matter what, as long as it's changing, it has varieties, and people will definitely be looking forward to it. And we also have a monthly spotlight. We call it town hall, a monthly town hall, and it has different teams. Different committees who are going to be handling, and this is so that we can celebrate our team members, celebrate client wins, milestones, even birthday celebrants, and of course we have raffles. Let it rain.
Yes.
Let it rain.
Agree.
And then we have yearly activities. We have year-end parties. We also have, sometimes we do meet and greets, so that we can celebrate together, chat with each other.
And we've been doing strategic meetings as well with our leaders. We just had one very recently, especially when we are planning like what we call it as rocks and milestones that we plan to achieve or accomplish for the upcoming quarter. We schedule some of those leadership strategic meetings, so we know what the focus will be, what our goals, and how do we get toward the destination that we want to arrive at. So those are some of our yearly activities that we plan. And yes, it's very important that you be very creative. At the same time, it shouldn't be just one person thinking about these engagement activities every time. Collaborate with different department heads or people who can help with some ideas, because more heads are better than one, and it also helps exercise the creativity of everyone basically. All right, guys, so it's very important that the leaders are the ones who are actually taking the lead on these engagement activities, because it would show how warm you are, how intentional you are, and that you really care about your staff, right? Because you go beyond your job description to make sure that they're engaged, they have high morale, and they're happy. And honestly, you can be very creative. Sometimes you don't even need a budget, you need intention. And when engagement is baked into your operations, your team doesn't just work together, they grow together. And I think that's the more important piece. So, Parko, I just really want to take the time to appreciate you for heading a lot of our engagement activities and working with our committees. And thank you for sharing your experiences and your ideas about creating an effective engagement plan or activities for staffs that we have here in Start Virtual. So you guys, I hope you like this episode. And if you're building a remote team, don't just focus on SOPs and KPIs and the numbers, performance. Of course, those are important, but you should also focus on connection. Engagement activities are the heartbeat of a virtual culture. So that's how you remind the team that they matter, they belong, and we're building this together. So if you need help in designing your engagement calendar or some ideas of some engagement activities that work for us, feel free to reach out. And again, thank you for tuning into the Start Virtual series, guys. Thank you for consistently watching our episodes. Keep leading with clarity and keep building with heart. Till the next episode, guys. See you soon. Thanks, Parko.